Testing.
Oh. Do it again.
Testing.
It's coming through here yet. Oh, okay. Can you guys hear it?
Testing mic.
No. I mean, I can hear something.
That it's showing up and it should.
Oh, it's just delayed.
Yeah. So you heard it?
Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Okay, cool. What was it?
They got it.
We got 2 quarts.
Hey, big boy.
We have 20.
Whenever you're ready now.
Start mixing one more batch. It'll be you guys mixing another clear batch, and then you in the back mixing another one. Whoever decides to. I just need two more sets. We got one up here in the front, and I can't see who in the back's mixing. Testing. Testies.
Single batch or double? Single batch or double?
Are we live? Yeah. We're live apparently. Thank you for joining us. Sorry we were a little slow to get you guys all hooked up this morning. It's not a huge class. There's about 30 people here, so it should be a really fun week. We're going to start out with black marble this morning, which is a pretty decorative, awesome piece to work with. So I'm really looking forward to kind of working through with you guys. Hopefully we get a little more time on actual projects this week. So maybe it will be more useful for the viewer than when we have 60 people in the office. So anyways, hope you guys have fun. Right now we're mixing black liquid base in an epoxy to do a black marble sample. So, and we have 2 volunteers mixing white pearl powder for our white veins. Nope, not if you already have your black mixed. Yeah, no, we already have our volunteers for the white pearl, but thank you. Yeah, we are. That's who's they're mixing white pearl right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, you guys are done with your second 3 minutes, right? What happens when you combine a resin and a hardener together? What happens? Yeah, exactly. You have what's called an exothermic reaction. It generates heat while it cures the product. The further that goes, the more heat's generated, right? Does that make sense? That's why, who's actually seen resin get hard and cure in the cup? Yeah, and that's just because we left it in the cup too long, right? So nothing here is an accident. It's very mathematical what you do. So right now, our mixed resin is around 75 degrees. Our unmixed resin is about 71. And I bet you everything in the building is going to be very similar. Yep, very similar. The longer this goes, the hotter it gets and the faster it gets hot. So we're going to let this hit about 90 degrees. We'd never actually put this in instructions because people will fuck it up. We're actually showing you guys. This is a good little trick that you have a smaller piece. You want the resin to harden up quicker, and it'll actually be usable much faster as well. So let's say we poured this out right now and it's 75 degrees. In 24 hours, you could still dig your fingernail into it. It'll be usable if you give it a good 24 to 48 hours if you're really careful. I'd tell the customer probably to stay off it for 3 days if possible, 4 days if possible. If we let this sit 90 degrees, in 12 hours, you're going to notice it's very rock hard to dig your fingernail into because you let that chemical reaction go so far in the actual container prior to spreading it. What that does to you, though, is you lost working time. So if I was working a 50, 60 square foot counter and I had a helper, I'd do this. If I was working 200 square feet and I was by myself, I absolutely would not. I'd pour it out as cool as I could. I would always start my mix over 70 degrees because if you're under 70, your chemical reaction hasn't really started taking place. Does that make sense? Once you pour it out on the countertop, you can't remix it. So, so make sure you get a good mix, at least at a proper 70 to 75 degrees. If you have smaller square footage and you feel capable, dump it out at 90. If you have huge square footage and you're concerned about time, you can buy yourself a ton of time. Let's think about this. If we dump this out at 75 degrees and I do not torch it, I spray alcohol to get my air, I could probably manipulate this for about 2 hours. If I let this hit 90 degrees in here, and I torch it, or even alcohol, I probably cut my working time down to about 30, 40 minutes. I personally like that because edges, if you pour veins over an edge, they really freeze up so you get some really clean edges. If you have larger verticals and whatnot, when you pour hotter product on a cooler surface, because it just doesn't move as much. So it's kind of an advanced technique I want you guys to get good at and understand what's actually happening. So generally what I see is guys walk away and start doing something else because they're ADD like me, and it sets up in the container. So I try not to fuck up in front of 20, 30 people. So. That one didn't work no more.
All right.
I think that's the one I've tried before that keeps going kaput. I keep replacing the batteries and it flashes at you. It'll go 80 to 90 a lot quicker than it goes 70 to 80, just so you know. So if it took 10 minutes to go from 70 to 80, it'll be a whole lot faster, 80 to 90. The other thing is, if you're impatient and you dump it out now, but you wanted to actually get that exothermic reaction going, you're going to be waiting for a whole lot longer once you dump it out on the countertop. So be patient with it. Be thoughtful. Mix your pearl. Who's mixing the pearl? We got 2 people? All right, awesome. Take your time, get a drink. One thing I forgot to tell you is the drink fridge here behind the bar, anything in there is your guys's. Did you do anything fun this weekend?
Went to Uray for the first time.
Did you really?
Never
It's
been
such
there
a pretty
before.
place, isn't it?
It was so quaint. It was nice.
The place is beautiful.
I didn't go to the hot spring though because it was kind of hot this weekend.
Right, yeah, it was. I'm not a big fan of the hot, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
cool, everybody goes to the hot springs. I'd rather go to the mountains.
No, it's true.
Did you go up to Yankee Boy Basin or anything?
No, I went.
Box
there
Canyon? No?
No. I went on a little hike, but it was just up the road. So
Which one?
it features it's only like 0.6. It goes around Uray.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
The little trail. Yeah, that was really nice.
That is a cool hike.
It's just a nice little day trip. So it was
Awesome.
fun. Did you do anything fun? Did you have your kids this weekend?
I did. Partied with them.
Nice.
They sung on Saturday at a church. They sang and did their little bells thing. And
Do they go to church?
yeah, usually.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
yeah,
that's nice.
and that was kind of neat to see them do that. And then Sunday, took Maya shopping. Scared her really bad here. I thought she was on video, but she wasn't. It was really funny. So, that was about it. Took her shopping. Took her to Justice, and
Yeah, you said that she likes that
Yeah.
place a lot. That's cute. That's fun.
nothing really else special.
Kids are always fun to hang out with.
It's the funnest thing, I think.
Oh yeah.
Better not do that. I can't do anything that I can't tell people to do. Just every so often, I'll just stir it up a little bit. It doesn't need to be, but sometimes when you let it get hot in the container, it kind of has layers. It'll be a little bit different, bottom to top. Anybody here believe the earth is flat? Please, God.
It's like a dome.
Yeah. Right. I know you don't believe that. You're part Asian, and I've never met an Asian that dumb. So.
Well, I'm an islander, so
You're not, so you might believe it's flat. But you haven't fallen off the ocean yet, off the edge of the,
I'm still looking for it.
right? Sometimes we have people raise their hand. It just makes the rest of class fun. You know who you need to spell things out for. You don't have to mix the whole entire time, guys. Once you did your 3 and 3, if you stir it up every so often, and I know this is a boring way to start the class, staring at something, watching it get warm.
Basically, everybody's at like 82 degrees right now.
Yeah.
Like my little gun thing.
Oh, I do.
Yes. I don't know why. They must have just misunderstood, but it's okay. We'll let that share.
I know, I only said it like 4 times.
I know. I'm like,
It's okay, I love to see the people who can't pay attention 4 times. How many Pearl people do we have? 3.
So if
The lady on the far back did too, huh? Yeah.
Levi, you gonna let the pearl sink also?
I will, yeah. We'll let it get warm before we pour it. So it doesn't have to be a full 90, but it should be kind of warm. What are you at? 83, 84? All right, well, take your time. This is the time you can go sneak and pee, poop, pretend you peed, whatever you need to do. So. Yes. Is it good now? Yes. Now your goal with the epoxy is to spread it evenly on the piece. You're not painting just to get the color down. You're actually trying to get an even layer to your whole entire piece. So you're going to be running it back and forth on diagonal and just kind of slowly working the epoxy to where you want it to be. Don't apply too much pressure to your brush or you'll push the epoxy right off the edge. If you're a little cool, you're fine.
Yeah, they're at like 87. Is that okay?
Yeah, they're fine.
You guys can go ahead and hit it. Oh, yeah, you guys are good. So 12 on his board and 12 on the other. And try to share brushes as much as possible.
Yeah, I forgot to say that. Share one brush per table, please. We'll have a small group like this use 400 or 500 brushes in the first 2 days. And everybody gets butt hurt. It's literally, I've only seen women get butt hurt about this. They can't stand sharing a brush with somebody. So share a brush just to piss off your women neighbor. Sorry. Usually I think women are more capable than men because they actually pay attention and do better on jobs. But in this case, they get selfish and stingy and butt hurt they don't have their own brush. But let's be honest, if you were going to want to try to make money, I'd hire a woman before I hired a man because women actually care about things. Men just care about making money usually. So after I got full coverage, even coverage, and I got it about as smooth as I could with my brush, I'm torching very directly. I'm torching quick enough to where I don't create smoke across the top. I don't want to burn the piece. This is a black, so even if I burned it, you probably wouldn't see it. However, I'd lose a lot of working time right there in that spot. So I'm torching 2 or 3 different directions really quickly to burst all air bubbles and help self-level the product. Is your product still a little cool? Is that all? What are you at now? You're good. You're good. You wouldn't, like 75 is a big deal, like you'll notice a big difference. 85 to 90, it's not as. I forgot to say, don't be a douchebag and ask out all the girls here. Girls can't go out with customers, and there's nobody here good looking enough that they'd say yes, so that's at least safe for me. But it's pretty douchey too for you guys to all come and try to pick up on my girls. I'll just have to hire a bunch of heifers if you guys keep it up. Hey Dom, if our pearl's getting up close, we just start dumping it. Right on. One reason I don't tip it around a lot, and I get he's doing it because he doesn't have the brush yet, is on a job site, you're never going to tip the countertops. So whenever we do techniques, we're going to do a lot of techniques when we actually add our accents that you would only be able to do on a countertop surface that's non-movable. So we want it to be realistic when you show up to a job. Easy. Hey, Dom, help her with the torch before she breaks it, or somebody. I will. Let me see. It's probably not. It wasn't. I think you were trying to tighten it, not loosen it or something. Here you are. Now, you already got epoxy on that torch, so clean your hands more. If you have epoxy on your hands, clean them before you touch the torch. And then if you have alcohol on your hands, let it evaporate before you light yourself on fire. I don't have any. Just a nice level surface.
We have extras.
Awesome. You pour a little more. Just, I don't think. Yeah, we have a whole extra
Yeah.
quart. Yeah, or black marble, whichever. What are you doing? Yeah, you're fine. Try doing a black and a white this morning. No, we don't. We'll do black, white pearl as our veins, gold, and charcoal as our accent sprays.
So the same as the white.
Yeah, same accents as the white marble, and the black base, white pearl veins. Don't over torch it, guys. I know it's fun. A lot of guys over torch stuff just because they like using a torch. Remember, you're losing working time right now the more you torch it. So use the torch for what it's for and then stop. There's a lot of dust in the air in here, so. You want the flame to be very direct. If you're like way off, you could be an inch away. You just right on it and just move quick enough for it to pop. Or not. Awesome. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
No.
That's a lot.
I know.
Let it cook so they see it happen. That's fine. All right, are we all done torching and spreading? All right, so if you want to gather around and kind of watch what we're going to try now, don't come in this area past the red lines. Just make a horseshoe so everybody can see. Try to be a bit artistic here. I'm going to use my brush. It's a dirty brush. Has the black in it. If you notice, I'm not actually dragging my brush. If I was to drag my brush through this, my next vein would go and actually push the vein out and make it look really, so watch this. When you're dragging it, like everybody does, I see this on Facebook all the time. I just know that looks like shit. It doesn't look real. So leave a couple larger veins on the surface, a few smaller veins. If you're all squiggly, you need to move a little bit faster. Does that make sense? Be kind of thoughtful with this. Be artistic. Take your time. Google a piece of black marble, white marble, veins on stone, whatever you need to, so that you can be a little bit artistic with your veins. And go to your table and start working on this, okay? Make sure it's dripping off. Make sure it goes all the way off both sides instead of a U-turn back around. If you make a vein down one side, don't turn around and drip it back across your piece if you don't intend to.
I'm glad I didn't put this on your table because I brought some over.
Somebody needs it. Be patient. You guys also just torched this, so as it kind of cools down, it's going to be a little bit easier to get really crisp lines. So you might actually be working on a job doing this for 30 minutes. So don't get impatient. See how they're kind of sinking in? The lines are kind of settling right now. That's just because the product was hot. It's nice and warm and it's moving a lot. But because it's going on a cool surface, it's going to slowly start thickening up. So the veins will start getting really crisp, real easy. So say like right now, you'll put a vein down and it really flows. In another, say, 15, 20 minutes, it's going to be really like taffy. It's going to be a lot stringier, but then it'll leave a lot sharper of a vein. So.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to have that variation of where some of them sink in and some of them are
I think so
crisp. It
too.
makes it look more natural.
And more three-dimensional at the end, yeah. You remember at the end of class on Thursday, we're going to bring out a doll so you guys can point and show us where we hurt your feelings or pissed you off. What part we touched you on or whatever. So. No, there are actually review forms, and you can say Levi is what was the one form last time? It said I was a bigot. Look, only to that lady. So, yeah. I was all excited. I thought she'd showed up again this time, but I'm not that lucky. Remember, if your veins are all squiggly, move faster. I wasn't looking at you, but yeah, that's you. This is your second time. You should be better than that. Now, after you pour some veins, give it a minute. Spray alcohol on it if you want to. Now remember you have alcohol, so definitely this will mess up your day if you hit it with a torch, because then I'll spray you with a fire extinguisher, or Leah will. Let that evaporate for a minute, right? So I'm spraying it nice and heavy, but a fine mist, not droplets, across my piece. This is cooling the epoxy that's actually been really warm. This actually, viscosity-wise, it really thickens it up. So it should actually really help you pour a really crisp, sharp vein. And now check out the difference in the next 5 minutes to what happens to your piece. If your veins are settling in too much, it's just fine. We'll come back and fix it when it thickens up a little bit. Timing is everything with epoxy. Dom, you don't have to lie. I'm kidding. That was a joke.
People are actually doing some pretty good jobs this time.
It's because I have a lot of good help with you guys. It makes a big difference when you guys are watching.
Right.
A big difference.
Because I definitely noticed a whole lot of people like messing up at first, and that's where I caught them.
Yeah, it's pretty helpful.
Yeah, and that's basically all it's doing is just going out of that white.
That's good. Watch out for the too many converging lines in one spot. I mean, it's still looking pretty good, but it's easy to either do a tic-tac-toe pattern like her, or too many converging lines, and it's good. Just be thoughtful, and as we do this, we'll be doing more and more veins throughout the day with more pieces, and you'll be looking at your old one and say, what did I like, what did I not like? Look at photos of stone and veins, and really try to work on that. That's good, man. That's good. Oh, that's good. We're also going to sand this at the end, so it's going to cut through this. You're going to see a little bit different pattern than what you see right now.
So I think it'll be tightened up.
Pretty good, guys. That's really nice right there. Both of those, badass.
Trying to fix.
What are you trying to fix right now? Yeah,
Things that look
big drops, yeah. Be thoughtful too, like it's good to have a couple heavier veins and a couple smaller ones. Sometimes you get so stuck, walk around the room and look at other people's pieces. But walk around and look at people's stuff if you want to. It'll really help you.
on this part, how much time do you really have to work with?
We have an hour, easily an hour right now.
I know it's based on that too. Like,
We easily have an hour right now, so don't hurry it. What's that? Yeah, if there's no alcohol, you can, yeah.
I don't know if there's alcohol.
Did you spray any?
No.
No, then you don't have alcohol in it.
Drink it all.
Sorry. I talk shit about people, so I turn my mic off. I actually haven't talked shit about anyone in class yet. I'll start that soon.
How many times have you done this?
A few. You'd think I'd be better than I am if you knew how many times I've probably done it.
It's a semi-liquid. They're not easy to work with.
Huh?
Semi-liquids are not easy to work with.
I love this. To me, this is fun. If you torch your piece, do not overheat it. Now we're gonna add accent colors. We're gonna start out with more of our contrasting color, which is gold. Gold would represent rust, from iron deposits in the actual ground. Now, if your customer saw your sample and said, I don't like the gold, tell them you don't have to have the gold in it. You're wanting to test spray, make sure what your pattern is down below your piece or in a trash can until you get the pattern you're looking to get. Make sure the stuff is shook up. And then remember, you don't want a gold piece, right?
And all the colors are starting at the front and they'll move their way back.
Now I'm going to spray charcoal. This should give you an opportunity to kind of tone it down. Now, after you do this, remember you have alcohol down, so don't torch right away. Pass the sprayers back to the back, and then let it kind of evaporate, and then work on your veins again. The veins that had the droplets hit it are going to be completely different than the ones you pour afterwards. So this sample is not only to make you make a good-looking piece, because it may not look that good after you figure this out, but you should learn a lot about how to spray an accent, what veins are like prior, what it's like to torch a vein, what it's like to spray on top of a vein, and what it's like to put a vein afterwards. So use your spray bottles. Whoops, I gave away my clear. Gold and then charcoal. If you guys want these, use them at the front, pass them back. Don't just take these to random places. Everything pretty good?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's happy? Cool.
I haven't heard one person do it, so.
So I'm not doing my job. I need to mix it up then a little more.
Right?
The veins you do after you spray are going to be a lot different than the ones that you put down and then sprayed on top of. So.
How'd you get the butters?
That's from, did you see how I applied those last veins? I just took some of my actual product like this. Oh, if I can get it back around. And then tried to create like a layer of epoxy on top of epoxy. Oh yeah, I'm trying to kind of trap some stuff, cover it up, because usually on a real piece of marble, you're going to have some spots where the veins are disappearing.
I guess I just didn't hear anything you said before.
I sprayed the gold. You didn't see me spray the gold?
No, I was in my own world there for a minute.
I believe that. We'll get it figured out. See that?
Yeah.
So
I love that.
it's kind of simple. But remember, this is for a customer that wanted black marble, so we don't want to make it too much of the fun stuff. So we have gold and it's at the tables getting sprayed, and they're spraying it and passing it back.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. look around the classroom at other people's work. You're going to see a lot of stuff that you wouldn't have thought of pattern-wise. Does anybody have any pearl powder or pearl epoxy? There's some. That's all I could get that's pure-ish. Do y'all notice the epoxy is getting a little bit thicker? More like taffy? And it's leaving much sharper veins that are going to look a lot better. Yeah, if you're just loving that torch, remember, it'll fuck you. You're losing working time. And you don't want to torch more than you would on a job because you're going to get a totally different look than you will on your sample.
As you're messing with this and putting more lines and whatnot, are you spraying more alcohol or anything?
Only if I chose to, but then remember, and I wouldn't want to torch it if I had too much alcohol down until it's evaporated. But right now, I'm just trying to mess around and get some sharper veins since I lost some of them.
Okay.
At least you lost some too. So.
Yeah. Definitely a lot more working time with this product. This is the new resin.
Yeah. I'm noticing that it's not near as thick as it usually is by this point.
It is nice. I like it.
So how
spray your alcohol mix before you torch?
Just making sure I don't have any alcohol down. You'll get good at looking for it. It'll look divoted. It'll kind of like bubble on you. That you'll see when the alcohol's down. And when you see that it's all off, you can torch right away.
Sweet. Yeah, I see you.
Oh, you put wheels on that barrel. That's what I was looking at. I like that barrel.
Right?
Yeah.
That was fun.
Now you could open up the side and put a keg in there and put a fountain drink
Right?
coming out that thing, couldn't you?
You could.
Oh.
I might have given away too much of my pearl. I can't get enough just pure white now. How warm was it in your ray? Was it? Oh man, that's so crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I was expecting it to be super cold.
You know what though? That winter's coming. They say it's going to be like a record winter. I'm like, I don't look forward to that. I mean, I look forward to my shoulders better to play in it, but I still wish it just stayed in the mountains. I like warm weather too much. It's funny, as every year I get older, the less I really care to be making a fucking snowball.
Yeah.
Or doing anything in the snow.
Yeah, I would probably be happy just it snowing like 3 out of 6 days.
Yes.
Then it could get back to being warm. Because
That's.
January is like the most depressing.
I hate when it's overcast and yeah.
It's like, because nothing happens. It's like right after Christmas. And
Yep.
It's just gloomy and
You go
just
outside, it's
cold.
gray, it's cold, you can't do anything.
Literally.
Then March is like, oh, was it warm? Did it hit 40? Oh my gosh, you can go outside with a t-shirt. It's like exciting.
Just the thicker ones. Was that like a really thick paintbrush line, or was that just a?
I probably poured it off the side of a stick.
And then it's still selling out because of that base coat, right?
Uh-huh.
He was asking because my whiter was doing that.
It's selling out because the base coat is what? Thinner? Cool?
Well, because I laid an actual layer down like this. I was trapping air purposefully underneath it.
And then you put the vein over top of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So just sort of tapping it down like that, that's what does that? That's what traps the air?
Just if you have a layer on top of a layer, you know, the epoxy is that wide, you're laying it down and it captures the air underneath. Then when you torch it, it leaves the cells. Because everywhere a bubble pops, it leaves a little cell. What's that?
When you're doing your white marble with charcoal, does it usually do that when you lay a thick vein? Will it usually like sell out like that?
Yeah, if you have air in it, if you capture air in it. If you don't, it won't. So you can have just a big blob if you poured it like that. But if you're purposely letting it go off the stick sideways, so it's laying a layer on top of a layer, it's two really thin layers, and the top layer also has surface tension, so it tries to pull together. So wherever that air bubble is, it's not going to lay down flat when it pops. It's going to go to the sides and leave the void. It's just really simple. So, yeah. You guys done jacking off? Sorry. You guys, are you ready to do another one? Ready to go again? All right. So mix the exact same amount. Mix in your number 1 container that you used before. This time we're mixing white. Dom will bring you white. Don't touch a torch at all. We're going to do something. We're going to spread white on our pieces. We're not going to torch it. Then we're going to go to lunch. We're going to come back and finish it. I need 2 volunteers, not 3, 2, to mix black. Who's going to mix black? All right. Okay, the 2 of you. Awesome. Same amounts, 24 fluid ounces in the container, in the cup. Everybody else, get white. Dom will get you the actual color and pour it in your cup for you. Yeah, another sample, guys.
Are you wanting to do charcoal or black?
Black. Oh, shit, no, sorry. For the veins, that, yeah, don't, no, we'll always do our accents with a powder. We'll always do our base with a base.
Yeah. Okay.
No, and I totally, yeah, no, you were right. I was wrong. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Everything going well?
Yeah, about to start Instagram Live
Oh, shoot. Okay. We were just on Facebook only before?
and YouTube.
We were Facebook and YouTube, but now
Yeah.
we're doing Instagram? Awesome.
We're going to do this one now since we weren't coming in halfway on a
Oh,
project.
no, I understand that. That's cool. And my microphone wasn't on. Fucking hate that. Poor Joe. Dumb.
That was a pretty good shot.
Oh, I can shoot you. Poor Joe. I did.
Okay. No problem.
I'll stop turning it off, guys. I'm sorry. I think I forgot to turn it off while I peed. Remember to turn it off while I said something that I shouldn't say out loud anyway. Poor Joe, that's what I said. I feel bad for her. She's stuck with that guy. I wonder how many fucking boards he's going to bring in to show her at the end of the day. And then when you tell him, he'll be like, I know it's employees only. That's why I was showing you. But that has nothing to do with what I just told you.
Do you need any more?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I think there was more than I needed in there. Yeah, your second 3 minutes, remember to add your color, guys. Now you guys should be experts at this. 3-minute mix, switch containers, add your color. If this was full, it'd be good for 2 gallons, so guesstimate what you're mixing. You got to be a little bit thoughtful, be an artist there. What's that? No, that's kind of concentrated. You'll do a stick mix. I'll show you. Mix it kind of concentrated. We want the charcoal pretty thick. One thing that's going to be kind of cool is I'm going to sand that, and it's going to expose a lot of that.
I'm sure, yeah. That's gonna make it.
I hope.
I hope.
Never had somebody videotape me while I work my stick that much. I can move it like this. I'm glad that mixing motion's not any other motion because whatever it is totally torn.
Yeah.
Like there's a lump in my shoulder where my muscle's all stuck.
Have you not gotten it looked at?
Well, I had the x-ray that they said was too swollen to tell. They couldn't tell if it was broken, torn, and they said to come back in a week. So, which was a VA. They took 20 x-rays. They got 4 that were good. So they said it was a new machine they didn't know how to use. So the lady actually cussed about it and said that they set it up so somebody else knows how to use it, but now I don't. And I'm like, I just don't think you know what you're doing. And finally, I didn't want more. I've had a lot of x-rays in my life. I'd like less radiation. So don't keep shooting away till you microwave me.
Microwave me.
We cooked him. He's good.
He's well done.
Yeah.
Are we doing charcoal or black?
Charcoal. Sorry, I said black, so it doesn't matter. What'd you mix?
I think they've already done black.
We have charcoal powder out though.
He definitely did black. Let me go check with the other people. Let's see if they did charcoal black.
Sorry, and if they did, that's on me. I said black instead of charcoal. It's fine. We'll make it work, Dom. In the back. She did charcoal. So I'm sorry. We're supposed to do charcoal, not black. He did black. She did charcoal. I said black. It's my fault.
Just mix them together.
You got to be careful when you talk about blacks. Is that okay? Hey, I have black friends, and they're probably watching. They can verify. I can make those jokes. My kids are half Mexican, so I can basically make fun of everybody.
So the black ain't right.
What's that? No, you're don't say it. He said it, not me, and he's half black. We'll make it work. Normally, we'd use a powdered charcoal to do our darker mix on top of the white. We're using black on some of this because of what I said. It was my fault. So if that's the only mistake I make by the end of the week, it will be fucking amazing.
Do you want charcoal?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Pour me some of both. Yeah, I have black already, so dump me charcoal, yeah. Now remember, once this hits temperature, we're going to try to share one brush per table. I'm going to see if you ladies can do this right this time. See if we go through less than 400 brushes in our first 2 days. We've gone through cases and cases before. Let her use however many she wants. Right? Did I hurt her feelings? The guy. When your boyfriend acts like a girlfriend, you got a girlfriend. Sorry. What's that? Oh, yeah. Watch out. If it jumps in the boat with you, you could get cut. I don't know where my clear went. Oh. There's always one person hurt feelings that we don't let them just throw away a ton of chip brushes. Huh?
Are you just going to let him dump it out right away or let it sit and get
I'm really mixed feelings because we're going to fucking lunch.
Yeah,
But
that's...
that black was ridiculous. Yeah.
Tucker's
Put this.
4-inch heels.
We'll glue them all together. Hey, I broke high heels jumping over bushes at a Marine Corps ball one time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I had danced really good, but then I ran. I don't remember why I was jumping over the bushes, but I had to, and they stuck in the mud like. And then I was like, and then I had to walk all funny. And then I have pictures of me in dress blues with high heels.
Did you turn your mic back on?
I did. Yeah, I danced in high heels. You guys got a problem with that? So.
They definitely have almost broken my heels too because they're skating jumps, so it's fine.
I think ice skating is like should be like mandatory if you want your kids to be athletic, like sports. I made all three of my kids do gymnastics for a year and figures and ice skating, like whatever they didn't do hockey or figure, like they just skate classes, and fuck, they're like so much more athletic after they do a season of ice skating. Amazing balance. Then they go skiing and they're like easy, like no sweat at all skiing, snowboarding. They have perfect balance. Like
I'm just gonna get back on the ice. That's all I'm doing.
You don't want to go skiing with me?
I don't really ski.
I bet it's gonna be an epic year. You might change your mind.
Well, I mean, we could go up and stay with my mom.
Where's your mom stay?
My mom has a house that's like right off of Popcorn.
Okay. I was pretending I didn't know where his mom stayed. I'm kidding.
Scandalous.
We're letting this get hot. It's considered an exothermic reaction. Generates heat in the container. So we started out at about 70 degrees. In your first 10 minutes, it gains about 8 degrees. Your second 10 minutes, it gains about 12. So if you wait 20 minutes, you're going to get about 20 degrees. So if you start out at 75, it'll be 95. So just to be kind of thoughtful. So right now we're just over 80. So we want to let this hit about 85, 90 before we pour it out. So, and then we're going to go to lunch, so hopefully we still have work time. So we're going to pour this out at about 85 degrees because we're going to lunch, and we're going to see if that buys us enough time to finish our job. Pour a tiny bit of it out or save your drips and do more veins on your black piece and check out just how long you can actually manipulate this for. What the fuck did you do?
I was holding it so it wouldn't drip on the floor.
Look at this dude.
Would you rather me drip on the floor?
I'd rather him wear gloves, but I mean, that's just my thought. I don't know. It's kinda like, I know how he plans on birth control working. Definitely
Put my hand in and take it out.
not going to wear anything, apparently. These people are awesome. They're telling jokes. I bet they're amazing. But they're probably about me, so we don't know. Huh? If you guys want to type into your GPS, be a little patient here. Type into the GPS. We're going to go eat at a place called Warehouse 2565, unless you're talking, and then you just eat whatever you want in the parking lot. The Warehouse 2565. The Warehouse 2565. I don't know if everybody heard that once. I will not fucking repeat that. So, no, don't repeat it. We're going to see who eats in the parking lot. Yes. Ship it anywhere in the world. It doesn't have any hazardous chemicals, so it's freaking amazing. So also the work time's about double anything we've ever touched. So it took us years to create. So hopefully this is the best thing that's ever been made. So overnight, say a 12-hour cure is equal to about 36 hours normally with most resins too. So you have a very extended work time, but your actual cure time is very rapid. So it's pretty amazing. So it's fun to work with. I believe it's the only resin in the world that can actually be shipped legally to any country outside of the continental U.S., air and everywhere else. It's usually, we go through a lot of certifications and whatnot to ship normal resin anywhere in the world. And most of the people shipping internationally are doing it very illegally. So it's pretty badass to have a resin that we can just legally put on a plane and ship as quick as we want. So, and pretty inexpensive.
It's reacting a little differently, but it's good if you want to.
It's slow, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it is good. You just have to kind of like wait a lot longer, but if you want to go check it out, it's really good.
Okay, I will. Well, that was about as ugly as I could possibly do it, so. I'm taking some of the white while I'm waiting and making more crisp, sharp veins on top of my actual black marble piece. So you're welcome to play around with your black marble piece with some of the white, and you'll see the difference between a white pearl and how a powder versus a liquid colors. If I can't leave a sharp enough of a vein, sometimes I'll take just a little bit of the white, pour it into the black, so it's predominantly black if I'm going over a black piece, and it allows you to put down a whole lot less of the color you don't want to be too sharp. So this right here, if you notice, half of what's on my brush is actually the original black.
So where do you get a glob of white, but can you stretch it out still with the brush?
If you can, you can.
Okay.
I don't know. It depends on where it is and what it is. But yeah, if I just got one here, and I actually just I put a vein and I dipped into it while I was passing it, and it was a big blob. So, and I just kept working it across the piece. So if you notice, most of mine's actually black on the brush because I want a really crisp white vein. And I kind of overdid that vein, so I'm covering some of it up. You have no what? You must have sprayed some white powder, some liquid with the white translucent green in it. So look at your bottles that you're spraying. One of them's probably a trans green.
Oh, the outside.
That's not. Somehow she has trans green all over her hands.
Touch the bottom of a bottle, like the outside edge.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think you'll die though. I mean, not from that anyway. All right, I'm at 85. Who's at 85? I'm going to pour mine out at 85.
Everybody else is at 87 when they pour theirs.
Yeah. Pour them out. Remember, guys, you're not doing yourself any favors to leave it in the container. It's just going to set up in the container, and you're going to be less likely to self-level. We didn't guess at the volume. We know how thick it needs to be so that you don't have fish eyes. product that goes down too thin, even though you spread it, it has surface tension. It'll slowly pull together and leave little divots that look like fish eyes later. Those are kind of tough to fill in, especially if you have a hard base layer or something.
So how do you fill them in?
Just don't have them in the first place, and then if you do have them, pour it clear. So it only usually happens to people that have too little product. Not talking about anybody, but they're not on video anyways, but they left part of theirs in the container. So I wouldn't have you mix it if I wanted to just waste it. So usually it just hurts people's feelings dumping this much product, but trust me, I paid for it so you guys can use it. Having a little extra product on your jobs too, it just does the job for you. If you're constantly trying to get it level because you're barely enough product, you're fighting the whole job just to be even, whereas if you have a little excess product, it flows in, you can hurry and do the next thing, and it's leveling out on its own. So you just work a lot less hard, especially starting out. It'd be good to pour a little excess product so the product works for you. We have a lot of customers call. It's funny, they call in and they say, hey, I want new countertops. I had granite bid, and it's $5,000 for granite. And then they call in because they want a cheap option, and they figure out it's about $350 to do their countertop. And they're like, oh, fuck, that's expensive. And then they do it cheap, and they skimp on product. You just saved like, $3,600, $3,800, whatever your bid was. Like, don't be fucking cheap when you're actually pouring this. So it's a cheap option if you do it right. It's not if you don't. So now I'm not torching mine, but I already said that once. So if you want to torch yours and then go to lunch, good luck. I'm just here to actually teach the people that listen, so I wouldn't torch it, personally. Somebody would.
Why wouldn't you torch it?
Why would we not torch it, Dom? Because we're going to lunch, and then we're going to come back and finish it.
Surface that you're using covered, how much more product would you do, like 2 extra quarts? Does it normally turn out like that?
I usually do 15 square feet per gallon, and that's just my math I do. If I have 65 square feet, I do 65 divided by 15 and mix accordingly. And at that coverage, you always have good coverage. So, all right. So for those of us who didn't torch, we're probably going to come back and our pieces will be fine. For those of you that did torch, good luck. We'll see. You may still have working time. We're going to go to the warehouse that I told you about, so let me know if you need rides. Check yourselves. You're not getting in my car if you have epoxy all over yourselves. Carpool if possible. Ride in my cars if you don't have epoxy. If you're on the live video, we'll be coming back. We'll be finishing the white marble. We'll be finishing the black marble a little bit, and we'll be doing a lot of classroom. So it should be kind of a fun day. If I can get this out of my pocket. I'm not scratching my ass. I'm trying to get this out. So. All right. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Bye. See you after lunch. And I don't know if I should turn it off at the same battery or.
Sure. Why not?
I don't.
Let me turn it back on. It shouldn't.